Let's go to N.
This one's good. This one's a nice, simple number question. Number of bookcases you own.
One, and it's not even a big one. It's probably about that big. Two shelves. Cause I don't collect books. I don't do it. I read them and then I end up moving, and then it's just like I don't even want to bother with them, so I give them away to Goodwill or something like that.
Noble.
I don't know about
Educate
that.
the masses, you
I
know?
just-
Like, that's a very good noble cause.
Yeah.
It's just hard to keep. They're heavy. Let's face it.
Morgan?
I have 2 in my room, and then I have 1 in my living room, but that is like a quarter full. So I have 2, and I wish I had more.
How do I explain? I have 2 big.
He's a library.
I have a library. Yeah, I have a library, which
You
can
have a
fit.
smoking jacket.
God, I wish I had a
I think it
library.
can fit up to 5,000 books, but I don't have. It's not. Not all the shelves are filled, but I also in my room have 2 large. It's a big. It's a wall size. So I think there's about 12 shelves worth.
Wow.
If you want to, yeah, I would say that they're 2 big shelves, but about 2 columns, 6 rows. I should have counted before I came here. I didn't know I was going to answer the question. Already, let's go to
Just wall-to-wall books, basically.
A lot.
All right. Oh, one book you've read multiple times.
only one that I would say I tend to read non-fictional books for reference multiple times, but if we're talking about in the traditional reading way, it would be Fahrenheit 451 is one of them. I read it twice because the second time I wanted to understand it much more.
Just thinking. The Stand, obviously.
Wow.
And it's not a hard read, you know.
No, but it is long.
And in 1984, as we were talking about earlier.
That's going to be something I reread because
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that it definitely warrants it.
Oh yeah, it's relevant. Always relevant.
Did you guys read the book in the middle of the book?
What?
The book in the middle of the book? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
In
It was like that-
1984.
Yeah, in 1984, there's that book that's going around about how, society sucks and everything, and it's like the rebellious book in the book, and then it's actually in the book, right? Am I going crazy?
I don't remember.
Gotta reread it now.
Yeah.
I didn't read it.
Yeah, no, I
I'll
probably
admit
read
I
it.
skipped it. I skipped it. I was like, I ain't reading it. But what was I gonna say?
If it's relevant to the everything at hand, then it's worth reading. If not, then
Yeah, it's not really part of the story so much. It's just like I don't even know what it is because I didn't read it. So, but you guys, you don't remember that?
No, I haven't read it in a while.
Yeah.
I haven't reread it though.
I guess I'm still hungover.
Yeah, there you go.
What was the question?
And what is a book
Oh.
that you've read multiple times? One book.
Catcher in the Rye, because this is the first time I ever did it. I've often tried to reread a book, but never made it all the way. So that's the first time I ever succeeded. So it's an easy book to read. So
Yeah. I tried the Brothers Karamazov, and Dostoevsky's quite a dense writer,
yeah.
and I'm still not sure I fully grasp what he was trying to say in the literature, so I'd probably have to read it a third time to make sure, because I had to chunk it the first time I read it. I had to read 3 other books in between that book, because that's how dense it was, but I'll get through it eventually, 'cause I like the challenge of Russian lit, so. What is your preferred place to read?
Either by a window or on a patio outside. Probably my 2 favorites. I like natural light when I read.
I like to read in my bed. Yep.
I would say either couch or chairs in my library.
Hmm.
I enjoy that most. I wish I could read more in bed, but the lying position is not as doesn't work for me as well.
I love it. I love you could like lay sideways and read. You know, lay on your front and read.
Yeah.
Just never get out of bed. Just
I hate
stay
that
there
like
forever.
I hate that like arm cramp you get when you like read like that.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
It's just like you get that like whole elbow like bicep cramp and you're just like, damn.
It's your book muscles. That's
Yeah. They're not active enough lately, I guess. Oh, gosh. Ugh. A quote that inspires you, gives you all the feels from a book that you've read.
Oh god, I have really quotes.
Or like poem, I guess, too, because
Oh, I have a quote.
so
on
many
my
poem
arm.
quotes I love.
I'm first. I have this quote on my arm. Do I dare?
What's that from?
The love song of J. Alfred Prufrock. It's the greatest poem ever. And it gives me a lot of feelings.
Oh, do I dare disturb the universe?
Yes. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just, I have a lot of feelings about being too afraid to navigate the world successfully, and I'm afraid to do a lot of things, and I relate to that poem a lot. Like, do I dare do this stupid little thing that someone might judge me for? So I think that's great. Love it.
Most of my favorite quotes are actually, I just see them as quotes, but I'm probably going to cop out on this one and say that when Robert F. Kennedy was giving his speech about the Martin Luther King, he was announcing Martin Luther King being shot and killed. He made mention to the fact that Aeschylus was one of his favorite poets, and I can't mention the poem. I'll leave a link down below to it because it's one of my favorites on Goodreads. But it was so crushing, but at the same time so enlightening too. All right.
Yes, I'm not going to be able to come up with a quote, but I will say that in The Quiet American there is an exchange between the two main characters, one of whom is an atheist and the other of whom is a Christian. And that exchange is really kind of changed the way I saw things and made me think a lot deeper about spiritual matters. And it kind of summarizes, and I'm paraphrasing, with the one character, the Christian, saying that he can't imagine living in a world where God didn't exist, and the atheist responding, I can't imagine living in a world where God does exist. So it's kind of those two disjoint perspectives.
Another one. We just read To Kill a Mockingbird. We're talking about it later. Very exciting. I don't remember exactly what the quote is, but Atticus says it, and it's something about how like the Bible in the hand of one man is similar to a drink in the hand of another. Like these things are potentially evil depending on who has them. So that's good.
Very, very true. Okay. R. Reading regret.
First off, I would say that if Kelsey was here, she would have swept the floor with quotes. I think that would have been an hour-long video. I really don't have. I think any regret I would have, I can fix that pretty quickly.
Yeah, I
I can
know.
always pick up the book and read it.
I know. In this very library, I regret reading
I
Twilight.
think I think there are particular authors that I wish I would have taken the opportunity to meet. Granted, I don't think Ray Bradbury or Richard Matheson had events, but Yale Doctorow had an author event in New York City promoting his last book, Andrew's Brain, and I read that this year, and it was it was quite something, I would say. It was really thought-provoking, and would have been quite an experience to have gone up and attended that event.
Twice I started and have not finished a book called Jitterbug Perfume that I really want to get through one day. So, it's not like a permanent regret. I can easily finish it, but I haven't. So I regret not doing that before now, because then I could tell you more about it. But it's really kind of this interesting look at religion throughout history, told through the perspective of a hero type and his adventure kind of starts when paganism is being snuffed out by Christianity, and it talks about like what's happening to the pagan gods at the time by the pagan gods have actual manifestations, like they exist, and what's happening to them because of the Christian religion coming into the fold. So it fascinates me. I really want to finish that book, and I don't even know why I stopped reading it, but it's something I want to finish. So that's it.
I have books I regret reading.
Yeah, that's how I took the question
Yeah.
too.
That's a good idea.
This, never read it. It'll ruin your life.
I've heard many a
Don't
bad
read it.
thing.
What is that?
Oh god.
Joe said watch the sequel
Oh.
to Mockingbird.
Please don't read it.
I know I picked up Twilight in here on accident once when I went on a road trip. I ran in, saw a bunch of books at the front table in the lobby of this very library. Needed to go on a road trip. Grabbed 3 other books in the last 3 of the Twilight series, and I was like, read through them, all of them, before I even hit North Carolina. So I was just like all 3, and I was just like, I wasted my life reading all 3 books.
That's another regret is going somewhere
With a bad
and
book.
not bringing a book.
Yeah,
Oh god,
that
yeah,
is
that's
the
always
worst.
Always
bad.
bring a book where I go, if I know that I'm going to sit there and read.
I also, I read Heart of Darkness, and I hated it. I regret reading that. That was a waste of
Oh
my life.
yeah,
I'm
I
just,
did
like,
too.
mad.
It's just so dry to me, and like it
Did you
didn't have
read
any
Brooklyn
point.
too?
Yeah. I had to do a presentation on it, and it was the worst.
Sitting
Yeah,
on
to
my
do an
shelf and
activity,
there.
whether or not we were for or against it being taught in English class. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
refused to pick a side.
I
Neutral
just
party.
said no because it was so terrible. Like, they're just so flat.
I know people who loved it, but I mean, there are people who like
Right?
really
if you
love
say that
Milton.
to some people,
and
they're like, what's wrong with you?
my friend Jack loves it so much.
It's like, there's a lot of like pieces that are beautiful, like structurally, like beautiful sentences and things like that, and beautiful descriptions. Like, that's it. Like, that's all it has going for it. It's just like really fluffy and flowery.
Should have tried some poetry. Just kept it short.
Yeah, right?
Probably would have done well with that then.
Mm-hmm.
Series you started and need to finish.
I have nothing.
No.
Alex Cross series, James Patterson.
Mm-hmm.
I got nothing.
T.
Yeah. All right. T. 3 of your all-time favorite books.
Oh, God damn.
It's like might have some repeat offenders.
I'm going to do I'm going to do Flowers for Algernon, The Kite Runner, and Fahrenheit 451.
Oh god, Flowers for Algernon's so great. I love it. I would read that forever, over and over.
Yeah, it's my all-time favorite.
I remember it so vividly from high school, like how I felt when I read it, like what classroom I was in when I read it.
What book?
Flowers for Algernon.
Yeah.
I got it as a Christmas gift from my
Mm.
parents, and I saw the anatomy class was assigned to do a PowerPoint presentation on that. But I was in environmental science at the time, but I chose to read it anyway.
Yeah.
It was my senior year.
Such a beautiful, beautiful piece of work.
Gave me enough time.
Yeah, we have minutes and minutes left to go. We could talk forever about this. No pressures.
I'll probably
I'll
plant
say-
it, so-
Let's see. I'm gonna say The Sun Also Rises, because I love that. And then I'll say The Grapes of Wrath, because I love that too. And finally, trying to pick a third is hard. I guess I'll go with 1984, even though it depresses me to no end.
I really like The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yes.
obviously, because it's the greatest book in the world.
Thank you.
It's so fun. God,
Right?
it's so fun.
Right? I want to get like a 42 tattoo
yeah,
so
we
badly.
talked about this last time.
Did we?
It's gonna be the
Wow.
5th season premiere.
Oh gosh, so excited.
Yeah, that's fabulous. Always great. The Stand. Also, think of a third. I feel like there's a lot of favorites that live underneath those top two. I don't know. I'm not gonna pick a third. There's too many.
Let's go to you.
Oh, right. Unapologetic fan of or for. I know.
When I first went to OCC 1,000 years ago, one of my first classes was an English class, and this teacher, I don't remember his name, but he was super mean, and I failed his class and stopped going. But it was like one of the first days of the class, and he's like, "Oh, what do you like to read?" Or he mentioned a book that Stephen King wrote, and I was like, "I love him." And then he's like, "He's terrible. He's not a writer." I was like,
Oh my god.
"Okay."
What?
I don't even remember what the question was. What was the question like?
Unapologetic.
Oh, but yeah, and then I was like, "God, that's so sad." And for a while, I was like embarrassed to say that I liked him, and then, but I've grown out of that, obviously.
Yeah.
Me? Okay.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
anyone.
I'm still thinking.
All takers. Anybody wants to jump in?
Yeah, I'll say Ernest Hemingway, because nowadays it's becoming less and less popular to be a fan of his because of his perceived views on women, and people think he's a sexist monster and all this stuff. But you know what? I like his books, so tough cookies.
We're gonna throw Bukowski under the
Okay.
bus too. Like, my
I'm
God.
gonna say
like,
massive book
lose all the
buying
writers.
and massively buying books at bookstores, which it can be construed either way, but I'm still a champion for that.
Yeah, I do the same thing. Every time I go to Barnes & Noble, I spend at least $60. I don't have any money. I'm just gonna buy all these stupid books that are gonna live on my bookshelf.
I'm an Amazon fangirl, so
Yeah.
like I like Amazon all my books lately.
I tend to do both, but I've been looking to go to smaller bookstores, and
There you go.
the used bookstores that I've been going to, I've been making it like a bandit.
Great. Yeah, you gotta go to the Goodwill, see what's there.
Mm-hmm. I
Go
know
to
I
garage
like.
sales.
Secondhand books, Book Garden.
There's a couple of them around. There's a couple like secondhand bookstores that I like. I like that too because I like the history of the traveling book kind of thing.
Yeah.
As opposed, I like used stuff.
See?
All right, V. Very excited for the release of anything book related or a
I'm
book.
excited for the Dark Tower series to be a movie. Super excited. That's not a book, but it's a movie made off of a book series.
That's a challenging one. I would say whenever they adapt Artemis Fowl, I'm just curious to see how that comes out.
Oh. I have nothing for this question. Sorry.
Most of us tend to our book choices are a bit different from the flow of the new releases.
Yeah,
W.
that is true. All right, W. Worst bookish habit. Any and all types welcome.
I leave my books open all over the place. And there's a person who lives in my house who thinks it's totally appropriate to just pick them up without putting any kind of bookmark in them and putting it away. It drives me insane. That's not my bad habit, it's somebody else's bad.
I would probably just say I think I need to read a few more pages a day. But it's not really a bad habit. It's what I can do and what I have the mindset to digest.
I also destroy the books that I read.
Yeah, it's
They
like-
fall apart. A dog ear, I'm scribbling.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Is dog earing considering that? Because I definitely do
Although
that.
Not to let you borrow my books.
Oh yeah, if it was a borrowed book, I wouldn't destroy it. But my books, they like get thrown in the back of my car, bring them to the beach. They're not pretty. What I've done with them.
I don't know if you consider this a bad habit or not, but I tend to read one book at a time and not really have multiple books going at once. If I'm reading, I don't know why that is, but it is so.
I seem to be the same way. I say that I'm going to start reading multiple books at one time, but I tend to only pay. I tend to have my blinders set to one of them. X.
Exit out.
Mm-hmm.
If you can unread any book you've read, which one would it be?
Unread?
Yes.
I'm going to say, I want to say that I changed this question because the first one was X marks the spot, look at your bookshelf, and pick the 27th one. And I didn't know how we were going to do that.
Alright, everyone visualize what your bookshelf looks like.
I have mine on
If I
piles
could
on the
eliminate
floor.
a book, it
like-
would be, I would eliminate 2 of them, Catching Fire and Mockingjay, and I'd expand the original Hunger Games book to give it a more decent conclusion.
Is this books you would eliminate from like reality or just from your reading that you've read?
Like from your mind, or,
This,
or either.
Again, this thing, don't do it.
Don't do it, I guess. Okay, I won't. Oh, God. I know I want to erase Paradise Lost by Milton, but I know it's like some personal for some people. I just couldn't get through it.
Larry?
Again, I don't have an answer. I can't think of a book that was so bad that I wouldn't want it in my head. I don't know. I just think that the more you read, the more you know. Does it sound like a TV actor?
I think that's PBS, yeah.
But you know, you don't have to agree with everything or like it. But I mean, I think you're better off for having read it. So
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, why? Your latest book purchase.
Oh, I just bought Infinite Jest. I'm very excited to read it.
Infinite Jest, I've heard of that.
Very excited. That's super exciting.
I went to a book sale at my local library. My mother wanted me to pick up a book, and there was a sign out that said, used book sale today from this time to this time, and I was in time, so I got 14 books for $5.20. And I'm gonna haul them too. The haul may already be up by the time this video is released.
Look for it, guys.
The last thing I remember buying is The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath, but I haven't finished it, so it's still hanging out.
And Z.
All right. Z Snatcher, the last book that kept you up way too late.
That is cute. What is it called? Z Snatcher?
Yeah. It's like zzz.
I don't know. What did I read last night? Oh, same book that I've been complaining about this entire thing. Ghost and a Watchman. Kept me up late. Didn't want to do it.
I'm gonna refer to one from earlier, When the Wind Blows by John Saul. I read that, and I had to sneak in more time so that I could quench my quench that nagging intensity.
Yeah, you gotta go. Yeah, one more page, one more chapter.
Probably The Grapes of Wrath, because I couldn't stop. I read that book just constantly until it was done, so that's my answer.
I'll leave a link down below to the original tag video and the questions. I'm not going to tag anybody. If you're interested in doing this, if this interests you, then by all means, go for it. Thank you for tuning into this video, and for now, keep reading.